In this video, I'm about to show you 10 US Mandarin brands you should never buy, and the 5 you should actually be using, starting with the brands that are quietly cutting corners on your health and your hard-earned dollar. Let's get into it.
Number 10. Del Monte Mandarin Oranges. Del Monte has been a name in American kitchens for over 100 years. I get why people trust it, it's familiar, it's everywhere, it looks like a safe bet on the shelf. But the heavy syrup version of their canned mandarins is one of those products where the label and the reality are telling completely different stories. A single half-cup serving contains 23 grams of sugar. To put that in perspective, a full can of Coca-Cola has 39 grams. You're getting more than half a Coke's worth of sugar in what most people think of as a healthy fruit snack. The packing liquid is primarily high fructose corn syrup and water, not fruit juice, not anything natural, just refined sugar dressed up in a respectable can. And Del Monte has faced legal heat before a 2019 class action lawsuit challenged their no artificial flavors claims across multiple product lines, alleging the labeling was deliberately designed to mislead shoppers. For the average person grabbing this off the shelf, thinking they're making a smart choice, that's a real betrayal. Keep reading, because there are much better options coming. Number 9. Great Value Mandarin Oranges. Great Value is Walmart's store brand, and I know the price is hard to argue with, but price and value are not the same thing, and Great Value mandarins are a perfect example of that gap. Great Value canned citrus is predominantly imported from China under packing arrangements that Walmart does not publicly disclose. In 2021, a consumer watchdog report from the Environmental Working Group flagged imported canned citrus products at major U.S. retailers for containing pesticide residues that are banned in the United States but still permitted in Chinese agricultural operations. Great Value citrus fell within the category tested. On top of that, a serving packs 19 grams of sugar in a high fructose corn syrup base. Customer reviews across Walmart's own platform describe batches with mushy texture, a metallic smell, and visible cloudiness in the packing liquid. When you're spending $2 on a can of fruit, you shouldn't have to gamble on whether it smells right when you open it. That's not a deal. That's a risk with a Walmart logo on it. Number 8. Dole Mandarin Oranges. This one surprises people because Dole is a name a lot of us grew up trusting. But the light syrup version of Dole mandarins is one of the most effective traps in the canned fruit aisle, and I say that because it's so easy to fall for. Light is right there in the name. Sounds healthy. But light syrup still means added sugar 16 grams per serving in a corn syrup blend, not juice. The difference between this and the in 100% juice version is a completely different product with a completely different sugar load, but the packaging is nearly identical. Same brand colors, same label design, similar shelf placement. A lot of shoppers grab the wrong one without ever realizing it. That's not accidental. Packaging similarity between premium and budget variants is a documented marketing strategy in the food industry. They're counting on you not noticing. Don't let them win. I'll tell you exactly which Dole product to buy when we get to the good list. Number 7. Members Mark Mandarin Oranges. Sam's Club sells in bulk, and bulk sounds like savings. A giant flat of canned mandarins for a low per unit cost sounds like exactly the kind of deal a smart shopper locks in. But Members Mark Mandarin Oranges are a case where the math only works if you ignore what's actually inside. Members Mark canned mandarins are sourced overseas primarily from Chinese and Southeast Asian packing facilities. Sugar content sits at 17 grams per serving in a corn syrup base. But the issue that really concerns me is the sodium tripolyphosphate used in some batches as a firming agent to maintain texture through long-haul shipping. The FDA classifies it as generally safe, but consumer advocacy groups have flagged it as a gastric irritant at higher doses, particularly for older adults with digestive sensitivities. So you're buying a 4-8 count flat because the per unit price looks smart, committing to a product with shaky overseas sourcing, added sugar, and a chemical assist just to survive the trip from the other side of the world. That's not value. That's a volume discount on a compromise you didn't know you were making. Number 6. Kirkland Signature Mandarin Oranges. Costco's Kirkland brand has a strong reputation, and on a lot of products, it's well deserved. Their olive oil, their salmon, their nuts, genuinely good. But their Mandarin oranges are one of those categories where the Kirkland name is giving shoppers false confidence, and that bothers me. Kirkland Mandarin oranges are packed in China. Costco does conduct supplier audits, but their overseas food production audits have been criticized for relying heavily on self-reported data rather than independent third-party product testing. A 2022 report from the Alliance for Food and Farming noted that audit-based assurance for imported canned goods measures process compliance, not the actual product. In plain English, they check whether the factory follows the rulebook. They don't always test what's in the can. Sugar content sits at 15 grams per serving. Not the worst here, but still a corn syrup base. Given the sourcing ambiguity and audit blind spots, there are more transparent options at a comparable price. Kirkland earned your trust on plenty of products. Mandarins just aren't one of them. Number 5. Kroger brand Mandarin oranges. Kroger is one of the biggest grocery chains in the country. Their store brand mandarins are on shelves in thousands of locations. Accessibility does not equal quality, and Kroger's Mandarin oranges are one of the clearest examples of that. Kroger's private label mandarins are imported, primarily from Chinese suppliers, with 18 grams of sugar per serving in a corn syrup base. But what really sets Kroger apart on this list is the consistency problem. Consumer feedback on Kroger's own platform and on Influencer shows a recurring pattern of complaints about mushy texture and a fermented smell on opening. That points to irregular temperature control during shipping or storage beyond optimal shelf life. Canned goods are supposed to be stable, that's the whole point. When a sealed can smells off when you open it, something failed in the supply chain. And when multiple unconnected reviewers are describing the same problem, that's not bad luck. That's a quality control failure from a company with the buying power to demand better. The fact that they aren't tells you exactly where their priorities sit. Number 4. Libby's Mandarin oranges. Libby's has been a grocery staple for decades. The name feels trustworthy. And that's exactly why this one makes the list, because the brand you think you're buying and the product you're actually getting are two different things. Libby's is now produced by Seneca Foods, which acquired the brand and shifted significant production overseas. The product is packed in light syrup with 17 grams of sugar per serving in a corn syrup base. But the deeper issue is what that acquisition actually means. Food industry analysts have noted that Seneca's strategy involves buying legacy brand names with strong consumer recognition, then cutting costs by moving sourcing to lower-cost overseas facilities while keeping the trusted label on the front. The brand equity of Libby's was built over generations of domestic American production. The product in that can today is not the same product that built that trust. That's a bait and switch happening quietly in grocery aisles all over America. The name says tradition. The supply chain says something else entirely. Number 3. Happy Harvest Mandarin oranges. Aldi built its whole model on the promise that store brands can match name brands at a fraction of the price. And on plenty of products, they back that up. But Happy Harvest mandarins are one of the places where that budget model genuinely breaks down. Happy Harvest canned mandarins are sourced from overseas. Aldi does not publicly disclose specific supplier information for this line beyond product of China on the physical label. Sugar content comes in at 16 grams per serving. But the consistent issue Aldi shoppers report is quality variance. Some cans are fine, others arrive with degraded texture, unusual odor, or cloudy packing liquid. Here's why. Aldi's model depends on buying in high volume from single suppliers. When that supplier has a bad production run, it shows up in every Aldi store at once because there's no backup. That's the hidden cost of their efficiency model. You save $1 on the front end, then you open a can on a Tuesday night that smells like it's been sitting on a dock somewhere for 3 months. That's not a bargain. That's a gamble. Number 2, Roundy's Mandarin oranges. Roundy's is the private label for Pick 'n Save and Metro Market regional Midwest chains that a lot of folks in Wisconsin, Illinois, and surrounding states have been shopping at for years. It's local, it's familiar, it feels like it should be trustworthy. And that's exactly the problem. Roundy's canned mandarins are sourced overseas, packed in light syrup with 18 grams of sugar per serving in a corn syrup base, and have accumulated consistent negative feedback around texture degradation and uneven flavor. What makes this one sting is the regional trust angle. These are people on fixed incomes who have been loyal to their local pick and save for years. They see the Roundy's label and they think local, they think safe. But here's what most of them don't know. Roundy's was acquired by Kroger. The local private label is now a cost floor product run by one of the biggest grocery corporations in the country, optimizing for margin while coasting on regional familiarity. Those shoppers deserve better than a product that wears a hometown face and delivers a boardroom decision. Number 1, Signature Select Mandarin Oranges. This is the one that gets me the most, number 1 on this list, and it earned that spot. Signature Select is the private label for Safeway and Albertsons together, one of the largest grocery retail networks in the United States. Albertsons companies reported over $77 billion in annual revenue in fiscal year 2023. $77 billion. And their store brand Mandarin oranges are packed in China, sweetened with a corn syrup base delivering 19 grams of sugar per serving, sourced under supply contracts that Albertsons does not make publicly available. But here's what really burns me. Signature Select Mandarins have faced documented complaints about labeling inconsistency. Consumers have flagged instances where cans labeled "in light syrup" and cans labeled "in juice" were found to contain nearly identical ingredient lists, meaning the labeling distinction that directly shapes health decision may not reflect a real difference in the product. A company pulling in $77 billion a year that can't get the label right on a can of fruit, that tells you everything about who they're actually working for. Leave it on the shelf.
All right. Now you know what to avoid, and that list should make you angry because you're being taken advantage of every single time you reach for one of those cans. But here's the thing, not every brand out there is running that playbook. Some are actually doing it right. Real sourcing, real quality, real transparency, starting with number 5 and working up to the one I'd keep in my kitchen every single day of the year.
Number 5. Sun-Kissed Mandarins. Sun-Kissed has been around since 1893. That's not a marketing tagline that's over a century of American citrus farming, and there's a real reason the name has lasted. The Sun-Kissed Cooperative represents thousands of family growers across California and Arizona. When you buy Sun-Kissed mandarins, a real portion of that money goes back to those growers, not just into a corporate boardroom. That matters to me. What most people don't know is that Sun-Kissed runs one of the most rigorous internal grading systems in the U.S. citrus industry. Every piece of fruit gets evaluated for size, color, and surface condition before it earns the label. They reject blemished and undersized fruit at a higher rate than most private label competitors. In 2022, Sun-Kissed reported their California Mandarin harvest met a Grade 1 standard at over 85%, well above the industry average for comparably priced citrus. Because it's a cooperative rather than a corporation, there's real farmer accountability in the supply chain. You're not just buying fruit. You're supporting American growers who've been doing this honestly for generations. That counts for something. Number 4. Trader Joe's Mandarins. Hear me out before you roll your eyes. Yes, Trader Joe's is trendy. Yes, the parking lot is a special kind of chaos. But when it comes to mandarins, they've made a smart structural decision. Most retailers haven't they sourced directly from California and Florida farms under exclusive contracts. No middleman markup, no third-party packer cutting corners between the farm and the shelf. Trader Joe's mandarins, sold seasonally in 3-pound and 5-pound bags, consistently rank at the top of consumer taste comparisons. Food outlets, including Serious Eats and The Kitchen, ran blind taste tests in 2023 and placed Trader Joe's seasonal mandarins at or near the top against Cuties and Halos. The price also comes in lower than the name brands, typically $3 to $4 for a 3-pound bag. For someone stretching a grocery budget who still wants clean, domestic fruit, that's a real deal. These aren't imported mystery citrus with a friendly label slapped on. They're traceable, American-grown, and they taste like it. Number 3. Wonderful Halos. Halos and Cuties are always going head-to-head as the two biggest names in fresh mandarins. But Halos earned their spot here for a specific reason beyond taste. Supply chain accountability. The wonderful company is based out of Los Angeles and grows its mandarins in California. They've been audited multiple times under California's Proposition 65 chemical disclosure requirements, among the strictest agricultural standards in the country. A lot of brands dodge that scrutiny by importing. Halos stays domestic and faces it. They also use a Brix to acid ratio testing protocol before harvest. If the fruit doesn't hit the internal sweetness threshold, it doesn't get picked. That sounds basic, but most brands just harvest by calendar date to hit retail windows. The result is a consistent product bag after bag. When you're watching every dollar, consistency means you're not throwing away half the bag, because 3 mandarins turned out dry and flavorless. Halos delivers what they promise. In this market, that's rarer than it should be. Number 2, Cuties. Cuties have been on shelves since 2010, and there's a reason they've stayed one of the most recognized Mandarin brands in the country. Sun Pacific grows the majority of their clementines right here in California's San Joaquin Valley, not shipped in from overseas farms with questionable oversight. The fruit is harvested during a defined window, roughly October through April, which means what you're getting is actually in season, not sitting in a storage facility for 6 months pretending to be fresh. Cuties, clementines, are seedless by nature because of the specific varietals they use. Clemenules and Newell's clementines, not because anyone engineered the seeds out. The easy peel comes from how the fruit is grown, not from post-harvest treatment. And the sugar-to-acid ratio on a properly ripened Cuties clementine sits around 11 to 13 on the Brix scale naturally sweet. No artificial flavor boost from early picked fruit being ripened artificially in transit. For $4 to $5 for a 3-pound bag of real American-grown citrus, Cuties is hard to argue with. Number 1. Dole Mandarin Oranges. Yes, canned. Yes, Dole. And yes, I know Dole showed up on the bad list earlier for their light syrup version. Stick with me, because this is a completely different product and it deserves the number 1 spot. Fresh mandarins are in season from October through April. What do you do the other 8 months when the fresh options in the store are imported citrus, picked unripe, gassed with ethylene, and shipped halfway around the world? Dole mandarins in 100% juice, not syrup, actual mandarin juice, are packed at peak ripeness. The nutritional profile at canning is often better than what you're getting from an out-of-season import sitting under grocery store lights. A standard 4-ounce serving contains around 80% of your daily vitamin C requirement. For older adults where immune health is a real daily concern, that's not a small thing. 0 refined sugar, no corn syrup. Dole has maintained USDA audit compliance across their canning facilities, and their supply chain is documented, unlike imported canned citrus that gets relabeled after clearing customs. For year-round access to clean, reliable fruit at a price that doesn't hurt, this is the one. Just make sure the label says in 100% juice. That's the product worth buying. That's the product worth buying. That's the product worth buying.